Hey, what's happening? Welcome back. It's Bill Smith. Today we're going to talk about the upcoming trade war with China. Now, there's been a lot of wrinkles being tossed out there, pretty much across any platform. It's been the big talk over the last couple days about Trump sending off tariffs. Now, just in a quick, short update, I will tell you why this is important. Now, if you've been living under a rock for the last 20 years, you'll realize that we are getting obliterated in any kind of trade deal that we make. And to the casual observer, to someone who doesn't have the background in all of this stuff, it almost looks like it's on purpose. Now, if you trust the Bushes, the Clintons, and Obama, then I got nothing to say to you, really. But if you don't trust those people, ask yourself, why would they get us into ridiculously bad trade deals like NAFTA? Why would they try to get us into the TPP, Trans-Pacific Partnership? Everybody listening to me was probably against the Trans-Pacific Partnership. I can tell you this, I actually called my congressman to complain about this. The kid that answered the phone, this is about a year ago, he was a staffer on an internship, I think. So he's in Washington, D.C., sitting in the office of my congressional rep and also my senator. And I told him, I was like, look, this is a bad idea, man. Like, you need to tell her don't do this. And he's like, well, why not? And I was like, well, it might get us into the same problem that NAFTA got us into, just on a more global scale. And this kid goes, what's NAFTA? And he's working in my congressional office in Washington, D.C., and has never even heard of NAFTA. So the level of just, I don't want to say ignorance, but like, we're all born ignorant, okay? But it takes real effort to remain stupid. So this is why it's important, okay? When you get us into trade deficits of $800 billion, which is where we're at, that means that $800 billion are leaving our country every year. Forget about our deficit spending, okay? Just in the trade deficit alone, we lose almost $1 trillion a year. So obviously something has to be done, and everybody agrees that something has to be done, but nobody has an answer, right? Well, Donald Trump has got an answer. And as somebody with a genius-level background in business, hate it or like it, I don't care, okay? The guy has written a book on the art of the deal. Okay, he built a $1 billion company on $1 million investment. It's a big deal. He's got people around him that understand business. They're trying to put forth the America First agenda. So here we go. The United States has an $800 billion yearly trade deficit because of all of our very stupid trade deals and policies. Our jobs and our wealth are being given to other countries that have taken advantage of us for years, and they laugh. Now, a lot of people think, oh, well, we just make bad deals. And I would say we have been making bad deals on purpose for a really, really long time. On purpose. And it's designed to weaken the United States. Okay, our military is in bad shape. I just read some stuff about Air Force pilots nearly went on strike because their oxygen regulators inside the cabins on fighter Air Force planes have been going out lately. It's unsafe environment for them to be working in. So we've been weakened all across the board, and it's been systemic, and it's taken 20 or 30 years of these policies for them to be enacted, but China now is kicking butt. And like it or not, okay, the Chinese want to be the dominant world power. They're not gonna play nice. They're gonna buy their time, strengthen themselves as much as they can, and then they're going to, start ramping up, conflict. So in my mind, it's way better to have a trade war than it is to have a real war. Trade wars we can win easily, right? I think Donald Trump even says something about that in his Twitter, which aggravated so many people, man. So many people. So he's talking about, look, people are taxing our stuff at 50%. We don't tax them anything. How's that smart or fair? It's not. So he's talking about we're going to start enacting reciprocal taxes, right? And that freaked the world out. Because listen to me, if you don't know anything about global economy, the United States has the largest economy in the world. The largest. We dwarf everybody else, although China is starting to catch up. So if we let them overtake us, then we'll have no bargaining power at all, right? They wouldn't have to do anything. Once they get the upper hand, then we'll have to like bow to them, even if we don't want to. Like up until this point, like I said, I think it's been on purpose. NAFTA was a bad deal. So he's talking about when we're down $100 billion with a certain company and they get cute, don't trade with them anymore. We win big. It's that easy. And he's serious, and he's right. It's literally that easy. Okay, we don't make a lot of stuff in this country. If you're an old boomer type, you remember how we used to make steel that we don't make anymore? Because we buy everything from China, cheap. And the American consumer is stupid enough to think that that's a good thing. It's not. Okay, I don't care about a $400 TV. My TV could cost $1,000. It's fine. I want jobs, okay? I want American products. American products last. I got stuff from the 1950s that I still use, like a shovel, okay? I got a shovel from the 1950s. My shovel that I bought at Home Depot 3 years ago broke. It broke. A shovel. So that's my point. So here we go. This is the last tweet. It says, if the EU wants to further increase their already massive tariffs and barriers on U.S. companies doing business there, we'll just simply tax their cars. Now, I read that they tax our cars at 10%. We tax their cars at 2.5%. How is that fair? It's not. And it's designed to suck the wealth out of the greatest country on the planet that you are living in, my friend. You're living in the greatest country to ever exist and probably will ever exist. So we got to put a stop to this. Now, I'm going to switch on over here to Alex Jones. And this is what aggravates me, okay? I've been kind of ragging on Alex. Okay, he got all crybaby butthurt about getting a strike, getting 2 strikes. YouTube's trying to shut me down. Dude, join the freaking program, man. A bunch of us just got liquidated. Okay? It's not going away. It's not going to get any easier. Okay, Alex, don't cry about it. And stop having stupid people with stupid views on your show, and then I won't have to call you out for it. So listen to what this guy says.
What's concerned me, and I'm going to change it a little bit, is that Trump announced the tariff of 25% on steel and 10% on aluminum. What that does is really create a tariff war, which at this particular point in time, I do not agree with. It's something that has major ramifications, particularly for our closest allies, Canada, Mexico, Brazil.
Okay, so Canada, Mexico, and Brazil. Okay, he's calling those our greatest allies. Do you understand what Mexico's like? Okay, Canada's basically selling their entire country to Canada. If you don't know anything about Canadian real estate, what it's like to try to buy a house in a place like Vancouver, the open level of money laundering that they're allowing to occur through the real estate market, whoever's in charge of Canada is selling the country to the Chinese. And that's been going on for a long time. Ask any Canuck, they'll tell you the same. You cannot buy a house in Canada. It's almost impossible at this point. So he points out a couple things. Now, this guy's an idiot. I can tell you this. He doesn't know anything. He doesn't know, right? He just doesn't know. Okay, so first of all, if we were doing something wrong, okay, if we weren't about to get the goat on China, then they wouldn't be asking for trade talks to diffuse the trade tensions. Okay, we're over there in the Pacific, the South Pacific right now, just trying to do military exercises, patrolling the waters, making sure that the trade pipelines are still open, the shipping lanes. And China's over there actively creating conflict. They're building these little islands offshore, man-made islands. Okay, so they're causing conflict. So for the Chinese to come to the table and try to defuse this immediately means that they are scared and they have a ton to lose. Listen to me. The Chinese have a ton to lose. They're in a weak spot, and that's why they're going to come to the table immediately and ask to defuse this. There's a little bit more about the article if you want to read it. But you really think the Chinese want American wealth? You think they don't want to be number one in the world? Think again. They don't. And the fact that they're willing to, to try to defuse this, that means that they're facing the bomb right now. They want to defuse it because they know it's bad news for them. They're about to get shut down, okay? And we're about to stop them. The Chinese sellout of North America is over. once this goes into play. Now, they're talking about tariffs basically on steel and aluminum. Now, why this is important, okay, they're not talking about TVs or blenders or plastic. Chinese steel and aluminum basically runs the world at this point. We don't make steel. Now, Dr. Steve Pieczenik, okay, if I can just skip ahead a little bit.
In the various industries at the prices that we had with imports of steel coming from Canada and aluminum.
Okay, this guy has no idea what he's talking about. Canada does not make steel, and I'm going to show you here. This is why you need to do your own research. That is the world steel production right there. I know it's a meme. I know it's a graphic, but trust it. That's how much we make. Okay? We make 81.6 million tons. China makes 831 million tons. Do you see Canada or Mexico on that list? These are the biggest producers in the world. Ukraine's making 24 million tons. Canada is a blip. Okay, it's a blip. Now, this is what's happening. Even if we tax Chinese steel imports and aluminum imports, the reason why it's important is because those two things are raw materials. So they show up in everything. Building, construction, vehicles, cars, steel, shovels, like I mentioned earlier, tools, everything. Steel is ridiculously important as a very, very low-level commodity that goes into making anything. So the price is going to be built in. And what these people are going to say is, well, we want cheap prices. China's making 831 million tons a year. We make 81. They're making 10 times the amount of steel that we make, and then they're sending it to us. Now, this is a problem because even if we shut down and we put tariffs on the Chinese steel and aluminum and make it so that they can't import it very well, there's a gaping hole in NAFTA. There's a gaping hole. You need to go read this article. Okay, I'll link it down in the description. But there's a gaping hole, whereas we don't tax anything. Free trade coming out of Canada and Mexico. So what Mexico has done is they've allowed China to basically store 6% of the entire world's aluminum supply, and it's sitting down in a Mexico shipyard, basically, or a builder's yard. 6% of the world's supply of aluminum coming from China is now parked down in Mexico. And guess what? When they start to make that into stuff, they're not going to pay anything to get that into the United States. But China gets to sell everything they want, and we can't do anything about it. So this is really, really important. Now, this guy, like I said, this guy is an idiot. This guy has no clue what he's talking about. And Alex Jones should have done his homework before he invites a ridiculously stupid talking head onto his show, because this is the problem I got with Alex Jones. Okay, Alex Jones is going PC, and he's bringing these people on that are trying to steer you off of the scent of what's real. And this guy's saying, no, we don't want a trade war. Do you want a nuclear war instead, bro? Because that's where it's going to go. China's already they're gaining the upper hand, okay? Their economy is heated up. 8% GDP increase in China, year over year, for like several years in a row. Now, you should go listen to this, what this guy says, okay? Watch this interview with him, and then go over here and read this article on the Conservative Treehouse. They will tell you exactly what you need to know, okay? And Trump, there it is, okay? That's the aluminum stockpile in Mexico. 6% of the entire world's market of aluminum is sitting in this thing right here. Just sitting there, waiting to be used. So there's two holes to plug. There's the tariffs coming from China, and then there's the NAFTA holes. Now, I can't show it to you, but Trudeau freaked out. Here it is right here. I can't show you the video, but you can watch this article will tell you everything you need to know. Okay, so when you stop watching this, it's about to end. Go read this article, okay, and get yourself educated on this, because otherwise you're going to have to listen to stupid idiots like this Steve Pieczenik guy on Alex Jones, and they're going to try to sell you poison. So take it from me. This is Bill Smith. Thanks for watching.